after a nice long day of what I intended to be laundry, room cleaning, etc. Uh, that was the intent. It ended up being primarily napping and eating, though in a bodybuilding context, that is, I mean, that's pretty much a perfect day. You know, meal, sleep on the couch, meal, fall asleep in bed, meal, but back and forth, back and forth. Obviously with cardio in the morning to start it off. But now at 4:30, it is time to go and hit legs. Now I'm not necessarily, well, usually I do try to lift around 4-ish, 4 or 5. I probably wouldn't have minded lifting at like 8 tonight, but the gym closes at 6. So I kind of had a little bit of a external factor telling me to, all right, get up, man, come on, you gotta go. So plan for legs is going to be the same as, typical, same as I've been doing. RDLs, well, maybe some cable RDLs, I don't know, we'll see. But I know I'm going to have some hamstring curls on the laying hamstring curl machine. That'll probably be first. Yeah. I could do some lighter single leg curls on the seated hamstring curl, but I don't know, this one I just don't really love. Sometimes machines just, something about them is just slightly off for your build, or you can't like perfectly, I don't know. I just don't love this one. So I'll just use the other alternative, which I know I do like, right, the laying hamstring curl. But I mean, I might even do just 4 sets there, because 4 heavy sets of the laying hamstring curl to failure with, partials at the end to the point where I can barely move. That's pretty much all I need for hamstrings, at least in terms of, pretty much just destroying them plus getting a complete pump. I'd say those are the 2 factors which you want to optimize in your lifts. Right? For one thing, doing like some muscular damage. Now maybe damage isn't the right word. I think I'm thinking more so of just fatigue, be it from a heavy set like 10 reps to failure, or a lighter burnout set where you do maybe closer to 20 reps or something, but you really squeeze hard and you make sure every rep is very intentional. As long as you go hard and you finish with a pump and you know you did something in there, then you're pretty much in the green. That's how I feel with the matter. And then for legs, or no, for quads we'll have to see. My adductor was feeling a little funky on the last set of squats, so I don't know, maybe I'll have to sort of back off on squats and just prioritize leg extensions, or well, maybe I'll just throw in a different variation. I've been doing just the leg extensions and barbell squats. Maybe I'll make today's quad day a little bit more so biased towards like the lighter squeezing sets, at least for the pressing, and instead of doing my normal heavy squats, maybe I'll do some Smith machine sissy squats. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. But I mean, I've got to finish hamstrings first before I even get onto quads. So me talking about the quad workout is almost just speculation. I've got to actually get in there and see how I feel. But no point chatting any further. Let's just jump to that first set of hamstring curls. So what is my logic when it comes to starting off my leg day with hamstrings? Why hamstrings before quads? Why not do like hamstring movement, then quad movement, back and forth like that? I mean, I'm sure, I've done workouts where it's hamstring curl, and then a minute later, leg extension. Hamstring curl, like a back and forth method like that. Really? I don't know. I think it just kind of comes down to how I think about the workout. I feel like if I'm doing hamstrings, or if I'm hitting any muscle, I want to give it 100% attention, finish it, before I move on to something else. But I don't know. That's just how I approach it. So I've sat here for a few minutes. I've got nice and warm. Let's throw the stack around. And when I'm strong, I'm really going to try to squeeze at the top. Yeah, let's just do a couple more like that. Oh goodness. I think just 2 more like that and then hamstrings are done. Yeah, one more. Last one. I was about to say I'm going to make sure I push this one as hard as any of them. But really, I think that's just kind of me calling myself out for not making sure I gave it 100% on the other sets. But I think the main idea, even if well, your last set especially, don't go easy. So I'm going to make sure just go as nuts as possible. And if I don't feel totally satisfied with the first, portion of the set to failure with the whole stack, then I may just add a drop set for some added intensity. But that's only if the first part isn't all the way to my max. Okay, that was good. Oh yeah. Even just straightening my legs all the way, I can feel my hamstrings like tensing up. I think that's enough for hams. I'm not going to say that's enough for everybody, every lift. And like some lifts, and maybe I want to do 6 sets instead of those 4. But I'm relatively confident that was some stimulatory activity. But let's go do leg extensions now. All right, I'm going to start off with a little bit of a lighter style of leg extensions rather than just like as much weight as I can muster with one leg. But leg extensions, even though, I mean, there's only one way to do it. Of course, you just fucking straighten your leg and then you bring it back down. There are a lot of different ways to do it. So I guess I'd sound like a fucking chump by saying whatever. You can do double leg, you can do single leg, you could do a pause rep, you could go halfway up, hold it for a second, and then finish the rep. You can do alternating reps where you do like 5 reps on one side, 5 on the left, back and forth like that, almost like rest pause. I mean, you can get creative. I love leg extensions. Honestly, if I had to pick a single quad movement forever, this would be it. Just because of the squeeze I can get from it, I love squats. I love heavy pressing too, but the majority of my volume is done right here. Whether or not that is actually like the greatest method for me, to be determined, but it's definitely what I like. So I'm going to start off with an alternating sort of rest pause set. So 5 good reps with the right leg, 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Just keep going, keep burning out until I can only get a couple partials on each leg. So I might actually sit here for like, I don't even know, go back and forth maybe 6 or 7 times. But I don't mind doing some extra volume with quads. You know, honestly, I hear a lot of good things, or maybe not a lot of good things, but I hear a lot of older dudes, you know, 90s, 2000s style, where, you know, for the most part, they don't necessarily preach going heavy. They preach sort of longer, like strenuous, high rep, lighter weight squeezing sets like that. Right? That kind of makes me want to try walking lunges. I'm not going to do it today. I don't really have access to a good little spot to do it. But you know, if you see freaking Ronnie and Jay busting them out in the parking lot, you know, hundreds of feet back and forth, and look at their quads, I think they know a little something. But we'll have to see. I'm pretty satisfied with that. Let's do another set of leg extensions. Not that style though. I'll think of some other way to execute them. You know, I haven't done a leg extension bodyweight sissy squat drop set for a while. I think that's what I'll do for the next couple. So double leg, burnout, whatever, then jump over there, grab onto those ellipticals for support. And without bending in my waist, just bending in my knees, doing some Tom Platt style sissy squats. Just, you know, with no weight. But the fact that I'm pretty exhausted from leg extensions will let me get a pretty crazy burn. I don't know why I haven't done that drop set for a while. Let's just bust those out until I feel like quads are done. Okay, I think let's do just fucking one more like that, and quads are good. I cannot overstate the stretch and burn that I feel on the bottom of those sissy squats. Don't just jump into it, it could hurt your knees, but I fucking love these. I don't know why I haven't been doing them. So with these sissy squats, before we go check the pump, let me just kind of say what I'm thinking about feeling when I do them. I don't feel like I'm doing a squat. I don't feel like I'm using my glutes at all. Honestly, I'm almost imagining that when I do these, I'm doing a leg extension. So obviously my knee bends, I go down, and then I don't feel like I'm pushing down into the floor. I feel like I'm kicking into it, just like a leg extension. So if you ever try these and you can't feel your quads, maybe that cue will help you. But they feel mighty fucking pumped. Let's go see how they look. There we go. So I actually forget how many sets of leg extensions that even was. But that drop set is fucking killer. I don't know why I haven't been doing it. Something about the pre-exhaustion from the leg extensions just make those sissy squats feel fucking crazy. And I don't care if you squat ass to grass, I do not get the same stretch as I do with those sissy squats on any other movement. So I think that's I mean, that's all I gotta say about that, but no, it feels fucking crazy. So let's just see how we're looking and then get in the car and get back to the crib. Ooh, okay, I'm highly fucking satisfied already, but let's actually run through some poses. So why don't I like doing the actual leg workout in the shorts? Why do I like the pants? I mean, same logic with every other muscle group. I don't really want to look at myself while I'm lifting. I just want to focus on the actual working sets so that when I'm done, I have something to look forward to in a way. Ooh. Okay, dude, that is fucking legit. I mean, even just standing here, obviously they're not monstrous, but you can see some hamstring poking out the back. When you have monstrous, like pro bodybuilder hamstrings, and you stand sideways, of course, when you're leaner, it makes it a little crazier. But when you're standing sideways like that, and your hamstrings just fucking poke out, and they're just as round on the back of your thigh as your quads are, dude, it just makes your legs look fucking monstrous. So, you know, that's just another benefit of having big ass hamstrings. They just make your fucking legs look bigger, man. Obviously, if you have huge shoulders from the front, you're gonna look pretty big. But if your back is slacking, then in every other angle, you just don't really have that same freak factor. So same thing with legs, man. If you've got some baller quads, obviously from the front, they are going to look pretty cool. But when you stand sideways or if somebody looks at you from the back, I mean, you just lose some of that impressiveness factor, you know? So if you've watched these videos, I mean, I've been making them since the beginning of the year. How many glute exercises have I done? How many leg days had a glute portion? Enter your guesses down below. 10 seconds on the clock. I'm gonna skip ahead. Zero glute bias movements, and primarily just because my glutes are big enough, man. My butt is big enough. I don't need it any bigger, you know. Honestly, that's kind of what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's almost a curse of getting bigger legs. They're shutting down. They gotta kick me out. But, you know, the curse of getting bigger legs as a dude. I mean, I guess if the only movements you ever did were just leg extensions and hamstring curls, and that built you some freaky legs, then I guess you're okay.
But from getting stronger with heavy pressing, your butt's just going to fucking grow. You know, your glutes are just going to kind of get enough stimulation. So really, I don't, unless you're a power lifter, unless you're powerlifting and you're doing like glute ham bench or hip thrusts for the purpose of a stronger posterior chain, which all power to you. I guess that's fucking fitting a goal that you have. So, you know, hit it, go for it. But if you're just kind of lifting to get bigger, man, I think I just need everything in proportion. And I'm sure I have a variety of flawed perceptions about my own build. You know, same thing with anybody who's into, you know, muscle growth and bodybuilding and everything else like that. I don't think I have it that bad, but, you know, it's definitely in there subconsciously. But, you know, I don't have that same set of, I don't know, let's just say circuitry as like a, you know, like a white girl who just wants a bigger dump truck. Main thing I'm trying to say, I guess, I want bigger thighs, bigger quads, glutes, and since bigger quads and hamstrings, and since my glutes are big enough, they don't need direct work. And for the most part, I think you're probably okay. I don't think you need to be doing direct glutes. Don't let me control your workouts, but that's just my 2 cents on the matter. So, plan for when I get home is eat some ramen, pack up all my laundry and whatnot, because, fuck, I gotta go back to school. I got like finals and shit, man. This sucks. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna freaking do? I gotta learn about thermodynamics and all sorts of other mumbo jumbo. Let's not think about this right now. Let's not think about that right now. Let's look in one more pose. Boom. Let's roll. That was a good ass leg day. A little bit on the chiller side, honestly, but I have this back and forth mentality when it comes to squats. So it's almost like a loop that I sort of go through in my thought process of them. So I don't squat for a while, and I do a lot of sets like those leg extension supersetted with sissy squat sets. I do a lot like that. Crazy pump, really good stimulus, really good fatigue, and I can, you know, really push it to failure pretty consistently, you know. Like a set of squats to legit failure is more difficult for me than a set of leg extensions to failure. So I feel very comfortable on the leg extension, and doing those sissy squats too. I mean, I just always have a really good lift. But then after I do that for a little while, I think the ego part of my brain that wants to lift a lot of weight kicks in. Or maybe I watch a video of somebody squatting and it hypes me up and I'm like, okay, now I want to squat heavy. And then I squat heavy for a while, and then I go back and, you know, which obviously I do think heavy squats are good for you. But, you know, you've got to do whatever ends up giving you the most consistent, let's just say, work output, right? So if your leg day is, well, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I'm just sort of pointing out that I have this little, it's almost like a seasonal shift. A very short season, of course, only a few weeks long, where I do those leg extensions, lighter sets, really go for a pump, and then maybe I do more heavy sets. Not that I think that that little situation that I'm in is bad, because just by changing up the kind of workouts that I do, I mean, I think that's good for you. Obviously, every workout shouldn't be drastically, completely different than every other one. You know, if I follow the same sort of basic framework, you know, maybe around 5-6 sets, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, kind of heavy. Not kind of heavy, you know, hard, be it a heavy set or a lighter squeezing set. And then, as long as my quads feel fatigued, I know I did a good amount of work and they're pumped, you know, I think that's good. But this is sort of a new style for me. This is the first time where I've kind of trained with a little bit of variability in the daily volume of each body part. Up until now, I've been doing, well, actually last bulk, Last bulk I was doing 11 sets per body part, no matter how I felt. So if I felt fully pumped on quads at set number 6, I would still kind of finish to 11. I wouldn't really lose the pump, but I would just go to 11 kind of just because it felt like a good number. But I think well, what I want to find out is whether or not I'm going to get similar or better results with less volume by going until I feel like I've done enough. And that's not necessarily something which I can, tell you how to feel. I mean, I'm sort of basing this off of like the 5 years of training behind me, where I've been doing, 12, 13 set per body part workouts. And in the beginning, I was doing like 25 sets. So my training has changed pretty drastically. But even with all those changes, there's still been a steady flow of, let's just call it progress. So I think that kind of makes me think, whether or not you want to do lower volume, or you sit in the gym and you do 20 sets for chest, or you do, whatever, you do a drop set every set, you do a superset every set, I've done that for a while, or you just do all straight sets. I think it is good for you to change it up over time. Every couple of months, maybe have a little shift in your style, even if it's just a little. But as long as you go hard in the gym and you go in and put some work in, I think you're going to get that training part of this whole bodybuilding, let's just call it routine, done, because you got to think, people get fucking big doing all sorts of crazy shit. Right? I make this analogy all the time. CrossFitters will be fucking pretty yoked. Olympic lifters will finish like a 400-pound clean and jerk, throw the weight down, do a double by, and you would think they're a fucking amateur bodybuilder. I mean, your body can respond to a ton of different kinds of stimulus. And following that logic, it's tough enough to be able to handle a ton of stimulus. It's my firm belief that, well, it's a firm belief for me at least, that if you get a good night's rest, you eat your food, you take all your vitamins, everything else, you do your cardio, I think you can train every day, man. Ever since I was a beginner, from pretty much day one onward, I have never taken more than, I couldn't even tell you, maybe like, dude, I don't know. The longest rest times I've ever taken in terms of like rest days were, well, they pretty much come down to a few different situations. Right. We'll start off with the ones where I actually think to myself, okay, a rest day would be beneficial if I'm fucking dying, if I'm sick as hell from whatever. And I don't mean just like I've got a cough and a stomach ache. I mean like I'm fucking bedridden for some reason. Then, of course, you're gonna take a fucking rest day, man. I'm sick. If your body is in a really compromised state like that, then training isn't really gonna do you any good. Now, it may do you some good in terms of your mental toughness, because if you train sick, then, that's kind of just like, oh fuck, I want it that bad. I'm going in anyway. It's definitely not the best case scenario for progress. As I've got a little bit more, I don't want to, let's just say, well, I don't know. I think as I've got a little more experience with lifting, now I'm more prone to say, okay, I know that I'm sick. I know that it's going to be better for me in terms of making progress and getting back on track to just take a rest day. I think that's the experienced take on if you're sick. But, when I was a beginner, I didn't care if I felt like total shit, or if I was like fucking, totally out of it. I was still going to go in just because, it made me feel good. I was like, I want it this bad. And I think there's definitely a little bit of benefit I got from that. But that's not me telling you to go in sick. That's just what I ended up doing. But if I'm sick as hell, probably no lift. And that's pretty rare. I'm not sick too often. Knock on wood. Or let's say I'm just, for whatever reason, totally exhausted. I didn't get any sleep for some reason. School, just being an irresponsible chump, staying up late. That doesn't happen too often. Yeah. No, fuck. Even if I don't get a ton of sleep, I'm still going to train. So that's actually not true. And then I guess just scheduling issues, you know, or if I don't have access. If I've got a crazy amount of schoolwork, like finals, shit like that, and I actually have to study and I just don't have time for the gym, then, you know, sometimes, I mean, just, you know, fuck me. There's a lot of gaps in there's a couple gaps in the spring bulk, like the videos back, you know, earlier in the year, and that was around finals time of school because I had to fucking study, man. Didn't want to drop out. So, you know, it's not all about lifting. Sometimes you got to deal with shit in your regular life, which will let you lift, you know. So if you've got other responsibilities, you know, I always try my best to balance them out so I can still get in the gym. And for the most part, I think I'm pretty good at it. But, you know, sometimes you got no choice. Sometimes you got no choice. So you're better off just, you know, eating your food, making sure you're nice and full, and then saving the workout for tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I don't. If I've lifted for, it's been a little longer than 5 years, but let's just say 5. That's what, almost 2,000 days. I don't think I've even taken 100 days off. So, you know, I think you can handle it, man. I think a lot of people take rest days purely because maybe they just feel a little bit tired. You know? Do you really think you're going to wake up, go into the gym 4 days in a row instead of 3 days, and as soon as you do your first working set, you're going to go, you're going to croak right there? No, dude. I mean, look, I don't feel that strongly about it, because I do think that if over those last, you know, almost 2,000 days, if I were to take a rest day every week, I do think I'd be about the same size. I don't think I'd be in a very different state. But if that's your thing and you want to go into the gym every fucking day and you're a total addict and you want to go against Mike Mentzer's wishes of doing the gym only twice a week, then, you know, don't listen to some dude who's like, you cannot grow if you don't take rest days. You cannot grow. I don't believe it. Do not freaking believe it. So that is my stance on that matter. So let's get one more little topic in before I park it and get some food in me. What's the point? What am I doing all this for? That's like going up to somebody eating a fucking chocolate bar or eating I don't know, just eating something, and you're like, why are you eating that? And they just, oh, I like it. That's what I like doing. You know, this is my thing, man. And apart from the fact that I just like doing it, you know, there are kind of, I don't want to say unforeseen, but there are secondary benefits to having something that you can wake up every day and kind of have a vigor to, you know, want to do. Even if it's only for 1 hour a day, man. You know, if I didn't have going to the gym every day on the schedule, and all I did was, you know, just wake up, eat fucking whatever, you know, watch TV, go to school, come back, and I don't know, just play Fortnite and then repeat. I don't know. I think it would fucking drive me crazy, you know? It's nice to have something where, regardless of what your day is filled with, whether you've got fun plans or not, if you have a period of time where you can do something which you know you like, and you're kind of working towards progressing in a long-term sense, and, you know, it just kind of, I don't know, man, it's just fucking fun, you know? It's good for you, too, being active. If you're not a total nutcase about the gym, which obviously not everybody is, I would still at least say you should get in and do some cardio, or even just do some exercise, you know? If you're not a all right. What was the last thing you heard? Well, whatever. My fucking mic died. But what I was getting ready to say was, why do I do all this shit? What's the point? Well, I just fucking like it, you know? I mean, I get to wake up every day, and regardless of whether or not I have, you know, fun plans, or I'm hanging out with a group or whatever, or I'm playing games, or I get to go on some kind of little day trip or something, no matter what kind of random shit I'm doing, I always have a period of time where I know I get to do something I like, I'm progressing over time, so there's always something to look forward to. And it's just a physical outlet, you know. I mean, there's a reason that people, or like PTAs and shit, get upset when school is cut down on recess time. You know, even if you're a fucking full-on serious adult, you wake up every morning, you button up your shirt, you put your tie on, and you go to the office. You're serious. You're a serious adult. Dude, you need some physical activity, man. You can't just walk around like that. You know, no matter how, let's just say, what's the word I'm trying to think of here? I guess serious. You know? No matter what you're doing or how seriously you take yourself or whatever, you're still just a fucking animal. You know, you've still just got all of the internal instincts of the cavemen, which we originated from thousands of fucking years ago. And they were fucking every day running around, hunting shit, pushing themselves. And we're not that much different from them now. So to go from running around like that, being mad active, just fucking... I almost wanted to say healthier, but I mean, cavemen only lived to fucking 30, so maybe not. But, going around from that active lifestyle, let's say, to just fucking sitting around, not doing shit. I mean, sure, you can feel relatively satisfied if you stimulate your brain with your phone or games or work or whatever. But you're not just your brain, man. You got a whole fucking body connected to you, which is your connection to the entire fucking world. So, in my mind, why wouldn't you want to fucking improve it, you know? So that's just my stance on the matter there. So, yeah, the mic died. I forgot to charge it up a little bit earlier. So, if there's a little bit of a jolt, that was why. But the plan now, home, eat, pack up all my shit, get some sleep, and then I gotta get back to the last few weeks of this semester. Oh my goodness. Gotta write down equation sheets and all sorts of CAD design for I don't even want to get into it. But I'll fucking see you next time. Test tomorrow.